In this fourth film, we look back at the early years of York City playing at Fulford Gate and Bootham Crescent through the eyes of one of the club's oldest fans, and uncover a significant archive of material relating to the period from the 1920s to the 1940s.
Well, I think my father, along with quite maybe other people, decided to start. My father obviously had always liked sport, been into cricket as well as football, and they decided to start a football club. And from being very small, a lot of the men who came to play the Fulford Gate ground were miners. And they came, I suppose, because in the 20s the pits were not much work going on, and so if they were any good, and usually these people from the north of England who were from pit villages were good footballers, very good indeed.
He was the director of the club, was he?
Yes, he became a director. He used to be he was a referee for a while, round in the smaller clubs, the Yorkshire League and that. And then when they started the club, eventually, I think it was in the 20s, he went onto the board.
Your memories of Fulford Gate then, and how old would you have been when you first went to your first match there?
3, maybe more, less, I don't know. I always know I was taken as a small child to Fulford Gate. Past its sell-by date, I can tell you, because I know the steps that led up to get onto the stand, they were went up like that, so you could get in through crawling through the back of the stand, and through the steps you could get into the stand.
I actually stumbled upon all this just by accident, really. Once I got the link to Barker's Charity and the link to St Saviour's, it was just through internet Google searching that I struck up on this collection of church records here at the Borthwick Institute.
And you were doing that research because you've got a book coming out, I understand.
That's right, yeah. I've been, for the last 4 years, I've been researching and writing about York City Football Club and Bootham Crescent and the history and how they're both intrinsically linked. And this was like gold dust because it actually gave an awful lot more information about how City came to be at Bootham Crescent. Because I think it's quite commonly known that York Cricket Club played at Bootham Crescent until 1932, but the full circumstances about how City came to be the tenants and moved into there wasn't, for me anyway, it wasn't fully known until this archive. And this archive was really a missing piece, which gave me an awful lot of the jigsaw and the information that has allowed me to write a couple of chapters in the book about the 1932 move and about the sale in 1948.
So moving on to your memories of Bootham Crescent then, were you at the first game in the new stadium in 1932?
Yes, that was the against Stockport County. I also remember going to Bootham Crescent to watch another totally different game, baseball. And it was someone called Pauline, and he brought these baseball players over from Canada. And I got hooked on baseball, really. I really enjoyed it, thought it was great. I mean, we had some great games there, especially when we got into, playing the bigger clubs in the cup and that, yes.
A record crowd of 28,000 packs the Bootham Crescent ground to watch York City entertain Huddersfield. Among the distinguished visitors is Viscount Halifax, new Foreign Secretary. York, in dark shirts, attacked from the start, and there are several anxious moments round the Huddersfield goal. But the balance of play is pretty even, and both goalies are kept busy. Well-placed shots hit the crossbar more than once.
So this document here is the original lease of Bootham Crescent, which ran from 1932 to 1945, initially at £90 a year. That was the complete rent for that period, which is communication from the football club to Barker's Charity, quite often saying that the rent was being paid late.
Okay.
We were probably a couple of months late paying the half-yearly amount of £45.
But it isn't until Paul contacted me that we were made aware of the sheer volume of information that's stored here at the Borthwick.
Yes. It's a shame in a way that all this archive material is in different locations
Scattered,
and not properly referenced together. So, but maybe that's something for the future.
Absolutely, it should be copied and stored digitally somewhere with, you know, and retained certainly by the club or by the trust.
What it's brought on to me looking at this archive, and also the other research I've been doing, is there's nothing at all at Fulford Gate which commemorates the fact that there was a football ground there.
No.
And you know, because football grounds are, you know, places of great community, of great interest, you know, real, you know, places of pilgrimage for people, you know, supporters, you know, families, friends, everything. There's nothing there at all that reflects the fact York City played there for 10 years, other than a signpost for the street called Fulford Gate. So that's why I, for one, think it's really important that there's something at Bootham Crescent, you know, some memento or some kind of artefacts or that still exists there to reflect the fact that when York City have left and the housing development has taken place, there's something there which reflects the fact that York City played there for 87 years.
Absolutely. And Mike, you concur with that, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I think for some people, perhaps more in the cynical age we live in, a football ground is no more than a load of concrete and steel. But actually, you know, the history of it really just illustrates how, as fans, we're all connected. A lot of us are connected way back through the generations. I do think that, you know, the work that Historic England's been doing with the local council and the developers and the club and the trust is so valuable in marking the place where we've all just got these incredible memories.
So when was your last game you saw there, would you say?
Well, my father died in '65, and I don't think I've been since then.
The memories too.
I know I couldn't have gone back. I really, to me, he was York City.
If you have memories to share of Bootham Crescent or ideas about how the site should be redeveloped, please contact Historic England.